Today, we're going to be talking about 17 different ChatGPT business use cases that you probably didn't even know about. Now, if anything catches your eye in this video, there's going to be free blueprints down below that you can download in the description. With that being said, let's get started. The first one is that you can supercharge ChatGPT's console here by connecting it to literally tens of thousands of different applications. So in this example, what we're going to do is we're going to take a receipt, and this receipt just looks something like this document here, right? So we're going to take this and we're going to actually send this into Google Sheets, and we're going to send it to QuickBooks or whatever accounting software that you want to use. You can connect it into tens of thousands of applications. So instead of just relying solely on this interface here, you can connect it into whatever you want. So I'm going to go ahead and say, please upload this receipt, and I'm gonna enter in the word please there because I'm Canadian and all Canadians are polite to ChatGPT. This is just something that we do in this country here. If you find a Canadian that's not polite to ChatGPT, please let me know, and they'll be arrested under the Canadian law. We're going to confirm this, and what's gonna happen here is when this is confirmed, we're gonna send the information. So let's back up here. ChatGPT is parsing this receipt. It's grabbing all the details out of it, like the line items and the tax code and the amounts and all that kind of stuff. And then we're going to send it to this particular webhook here. So we're sending all the data, like the unit price and the tax and the amount, and we're sending it to this. And then it's just gonna insert that into Google Sheets here, right? So we have this line item amount that's been posted into, you can actually just see it right there. It was posted in real time into Google Sheets, right? We could take that same data, we could send it into QuickBooks, we could send it into, I don't know, just like 1,000,001 different applications, right? It hurts my hand just to keep scrolling down that far. So tons of different stuff that you can do there, right? Now, the next portion of this video, I actually want to talk about how you can integrate ChatGPT into other software applications like Make.com. Now, Make.com is exactly what you just saw here. And what it does is it connects, tens of thousands of applications together. So for instance, you can send data into Make.com from ChatGPT like we just did here. And then we can use that data and send it into connect it into Google Sheets or QuickBooks or whatever, all of these other applications here, which is really, really awesome. And the reason why I want to spend the rest of this video in Make.com is because the thing is that ChatGPT in itself is somewhat limited when you're just dealing with the console. And let me give you a good analogy to kind of break this down. So when you're dealing with that console, it's like having a work buddy or a colleague right beside you where you can bounce ideas off of, and you can be like, hey, what do you think about this? Can you give me an answer for this? Can you tell me what you think about that? And it'll help you dissect the problem. But when you connect it into Make.com using something called ChatGPT's API, you can turn that AI, or that buddy, that colleague, into an employee for you, and that employee is going to work autonomously where you don't have to give them, talk to them or ask them to do things. It's just going to automatically take the work that you otherwise would have been doing manually and do it automatically. No more interacting with the search interface like this. The work that you want done is just going to be done automatically, right? So obviously that's super, super powerful. So the next automation that I want to talk about here is literally building entire blogs with Make.com and ChatGPT and all this kind of stuff. Now, this is pretty intimidating. There's going to be blueprints for all of these different workflows in the description for free that you can download. But in something like this, we're just going ahead and we're creating a blog. Practically speaking, this is exactly what that blog would look like, right? So we're generating entire titles. We're styling the whole blog just like this, right? This whole style can be done using Make.com. We're inserting in pictures, titles, text. We're going about creating a table of contents in there. We're also doing things like internal and external links to other pages on our website and other credible sources so that the blog post actually ranks well on Google. All of this kind of stuff can be 100% automated, and a lot of it is using ChatGPT. Right? So this is just one example of how you can supercharge a lot of the work that you're currently doing manually and just automate the process, right? So that's just one example. Practically speaking, how it works is we have a Google spreadsheet just like this, and we find keywords that are likely to rank well on Google and have low competition. We write them down here. When we find something like this, which is for this blog post. Is one photographer enough for a wedding? All we have to do here is go to the generate blog post section, click the company we want to generate the blog post for, and it's just going to automatically generate something like that, which is super freaking cool. And then the next workflow, the third workflow using ChatGPT that I want to talk about here, is taking that exact blog post, right? And then passing it through ChatGPT and turning that blog post, right? So whatever this is, creative post, wedding, photo shoot ideas to capture the best moments, we can turn that into Facebook posts and Instagram posts and Twitter posts and Tumblr and Pinterest and LinkedIn, right? The possibilities are endless. And practically speaking, what's going on here is ChatGPT is just taking that content from that blog post and it's reformatting that content in a way that would create the best Facebook post or the best Instagram post, or the best Twitter post, and so on and so forth, right? So super powerful stuff. Now, the fourth ChatGPT business workflow that we could build out here is automating the process of emails, right? So practically speaking, let's say that you open up your inbox, you're flooded with like 200 emails and you're like, oh my God, I don't want to spend my entire morning dealing with all these emails. You could have an automation like this, right? Where you get an email inbound, right? Coming in and you just have ChatGPT automatically reply to that email. And what that looks like is in this workflow, we have the first ChatGPT module, which, and by the way, this is using Zapier. Zapier is a one-to-one substitute for Make.com. They do the exact same thing, just different, slightly different functionality. But we have ChatGPT write an email response. And then we have ChatGPT essentially grade that response and we say, hey, do you feel comfortable sending this email out to this person on my behalf? If the answer is yes, sure, go for it. Well, then you can go ahead and you can go down the good to send path and you reply to the email that came in. And if ChatGPT is like, hey, this is probably not the best idea to send off this email, well, then it's going to go down the please create a draft email instead, which we will create a draft and then you can come in, you can modify that draft and then you can send it off once you're happy with the response, which is great because now all of a sudden you don't have to start from the ground up. Now, for those of you who have watched my past videos, you'll know that I usually use Make.com. The only reason I'm using Zapier in here is because they don't have this specific functionality in Gmail, which is creating draft replies to an email thread, right? You can create a draft, you just can't create it to a particular thread that already exists. Moving on, the next thing that I want to share here is an AI assistant. So you can use ChatGPT to build out these highly versatile AI assistants. So practically speaking, what this looks like is we have this workflow here, right? In Slack, I can come in, I have my AI assistant. Slack is just a messaging platform, and I can just ask it to do things for me. So instead of me sitting, like paying $50,000 for an assistant in North America, all of a sudden I can come in and use ChatGPT and Make.com and Slack to do that for me. So what this looks like is I just write down all of the tasks that I'd otherwise have an assistant doing, such as, for example, finding calendar events on my day, like for that particular day, or creating calendar events, or finding emails for that day, or sending off an email, or creating a task in ClickUp or whatever task management software you use, right? So this is just like 6 different things that you could do here, but in reality, you could create like 1,000 paths or 2,000 paths. You could automate literally every single task that you're doing. It just depends on how crazy you want it to get. But let's go ahead and let's try this out. So I'm just gonna, send off a draft email from this Slack channel here. Hey, can you please send an email to Jono Catliff telling them that we're good to go for our meeting tomorrow at 2 p.m. So we're going to record this message. I'm just going to come back into Make.com, make sure this is running, and we're going to send this message. Now, in regards to ChatGPT, the first thing that's going to happen is it's going to convert that audio file to text. And then once it's done that, it's going to go ahead and it's going to go to like an AI ChatGPT manager. And it's going to essentially ask it, hey, what is the person asking? Are they asking for calendar events for the day? Or are they asked to send off an email? And they're looking to send off an email. So it's going to go down this path, which is sending an email to a particular person. For whatever reason, that didn't work, which is a bit of a shame. It's like every single time you jump on video and you explain, it works perfectly. Then you go to explain it on video, and then it fails every time. And it's super embarrassing. But anyways, we're going to move on. I think you get the point. It would just send a message back being like, your email has been sent to Jono for whatever, right? So this is a really cool way that you can just have an AI ChatGPT assistant that works for you around the clock. It's very similar to how we started this video, where you also have that same AI assistant just in the ChatGPT builder or module here. The next workflow that I want to talk about is essentially web scraping lead generation and then sending them off high quality lead magnets. So that is like a whole freaking mouthful in and of itself. So let's break that down. What that practically means is, let's say you're an SEO agency or you're digital marketing or whatever, right? You offer services and you wake up one day and you're like, crap, like I gotta find leads. Like I gotta, find leads to be able to sell my services to. So what you do is you go to Google and you type in landscapers in whatever city that you're in. And then you go and you find all these landscapers and maybe you want to send off an email to them being like, hey, can we work together? And the thing is that a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll literally send an email being like, hey, I offer SEO services. Do you want to pay me money for my services? And usually the answer is no, right? I get like 10 emails like that. You might be sitting there thinking, well, who the hell is going to say that? Obviously they don't phrase it exactly like that, but it's more or less like, hey, I offer SEO services. We should work together. How about you pay me money? Something like that, right? And obviously that's not the best approach to take. I'd rather have somebody come to me being like, hey, here's really high quality value that I can provide you free of charge. Take a look at it. If you like what I'm giving you for free, then maybe we can jump on a call, talk about it and see if we're the right fit for each other, right? So it's always best to start by giving value first and then asking at a later point in time only if the person's interested. Practically speaking, how a workflow like this would work is you would essentially web scrape like things like Google. So instead of you actually going through these one by one, you can just have a web scraper which automatically will go through each listing one by one. It'll take out the data and then you can use ChatGPT to send off some high quality lead magnet. Now, in this case, what that high quality lead magnet is that I created, and keep in mind, you can create whatever high quality lead magnet you want, but this is just like a basic social media plan where you can send them off a content calendar being like, hey, if you're a social media agency, right? You could be like, hey, here's some Instagram posts, Facebook posts, blog posts, Twitter, Pinterest posts. You're giving the actual post, images, and then they can take that. And if they like what you gave them, then they can implement that and then, jump on a call and see if you guys are the right fit for each other. The next thing is email scraping. And this honestly saves me and my team probably like 45 minutes every single day. So let me explain how this works. There's a lot of email or lead generation providers out there that will send you leads. So in my case, it could be something like Gig Salad, but things that you might be more familiar with would be like Thumbtack, or it could be things like bark.com or whatever. There's just these lead providers that you can buy leads from. The problem is that in a lot of these instances, they will send you off an email and they'll be like, hey, you have a new lead. Here's the person's email. Here's the person's phone number. And if you're like the average business in America, most businesses take 48 hours to reply to leads. That's obviously atrocious. If you call a lead within 60 seconds, you increase your conversion rate by up to 391%. There's very few things that you can do in 5 minutes of your time to fix your business that will yield you a 4x return. I can't even think of anything else. This is the first thing I'd start with as a business owner, right? So practically speaking, and by the way, these stats are widely accessible online. They're not my stats. You can search them up. And with something like this automation, essentially what we're doing here is we're taking these emails. As soon as an email comes in, we're finding that person's information. And we're using ChatGPT to automatically scrape particular details from that person. So for example, I might want to know the person's first name, No worries, we'll use ChatGPT to extract the first name. I might want to know their last name or the last name initial. No worries, I can use ChatGPT to extract that. I can use ChatGPT to extract the phone number. I can use it to extract the email, the service date, all of that kind of stuff. And then all you'd have to do from here is use make.com to put that into your CRM. I use Go High Level, and Go High Level could automatically call that person in a matter of 5 seconds. So email comes in, you scrape the details, you add them to Go High Level. Within 5 seconds, you or your sales rep is already connected into a call with that client, increasing your conversion rate up to 391% or 4 times the amount. This is something that would probably take like 20 minutes to set up, or you can just download in the blueprints for free and you're pretty much good to go. Next thing here that I want to talk about is using like document parsing using ChatGPT. So practical case in this example, and this is just one of many use cases for it, but let's say you have an email coming in like this. You have a receipt. I'm just using receipts as examples today. And this is what it looks like, right? You have a receipt coming in and you want to automatically take that receipt, maybe upload it to Google Drive, use ChatGPT to parse it, send it back into a Google Sheet like we did earlier. Well, you can set up a workflow like this, which automatically waits for those emails to come through, adds them to Drive, turns that document from a PDF into text, and then uses ChatGPT to automatically parse that receipt and then send it into a Google Sheet. Very similar to what we did in the first example here of how you can automate your business, right? So obviously super powerful stuff, but the whole process of like extracting text or data from documents and then using ChatGPT to automatically pull out golden nuggets or critical information that you need. It's just super powerful. This is trending really hard right now. And it's something that I'd highly recommend implementing into your business because I'm sure it'll save you quite a bit of time. Awesome. The next thing that I want to talk about is using ChatGPT to automatically autofill your Google Sheets documents. So let's take an example here. I'm just going to take like the most basic example where this is like a very simple sheet that I created in like maybe 5 seconds here. But let's say you have leads coming into your business, okay? And maybe you realized, hey, it's not worth calling leads that have a budget of under $1,000. So I want to qualify that lead based on whether or not they have a budget that's, high enough for us to actually want to service that client. So if it's $999 below, they're unqualified. If it's over $1,000, they're qualified, right? So instead of you doing that manually, you could have ChatGPT do that. So let's say we just copy this in, we add a new row here, right? And we come back to the spreadsheet here and we just run this, for example. We can ask ChatGPT, hey, is this person qualified? And in this case, they are qualified because their budget's over $1,000. Now, this is just like a very simplified way of doing it. But, imagine if you not only had column B here, but you had column B to like Z, and you're just automating every single one of these columns using ChatGPT based on information that's provided, right? So this can speed up your workflow and save you a lot of time. The next module or the next business use case that I want to talk about here is chatbots using ChatGPT. So practical example here is, let's say that you have leads coming in and you want to book appointments with those leads. You could use ChatGPT to automatically communicate with those people. And by the way, it doesn't have to just be new leads. It could be customer service. It could be new leads. It could be whatever function it is. But anytime you're actually communicating with clients, you could use ChatGPT to communicate with those clients on your behalf. So in this example here, we have Facebook leads coming in. And we're using ManyChat this time instead of make.com to communicate with those inbound clients. So what this looks like is somebody would inquire and we would automatically send them a message being like, hey, thanks for inquiring about our lead magnet. I'd love to send it over. And then we'll just go through a funnel of essentially trying to book an appointment with them, right? So practically speaking, ChatGPT is on the back end communicating back and forth with these people to get them to the desired outcome. Make.com, which would be to book an appointment. And in this case as well, you can also hook this up to things like Make.com to send over in real-time proposals, right? So imagine as you're talking to somebody in the back end, you have Make.com working to create a fully customized proposal to send off to that person. So you could be like, hey, here is the proposal that I created for you in like the 60-second chat window that you had with them. Practically speaking, your proposal could be like this. It could load in the company name. It could load in a ton of other stuff on that company. This is just like a quick example that I built really fast. But once again, if you're interested in this, I have a whole video on how to do this. The next business use case for ChatGPT is screening resumes, right? So just like a resume like this. In my case, for my company, I have a lot of people applying. I like to only hire maybe 1 in 300 people, just because for me, I like to cast the widest net possible, see the talent out there, and then choose from the best, or at least the perceived best for the role that I have, right? And obviously that takes a ton of time, right? It takes a lot of time going through 300 different people to find the right candidate for your position. So with something like this workflow here, what we're doing is we're taking a resume just like this, right? And with that resume, we are going to convert it into text. And then we're going to use ChatGPT to essentially review those resumes for us. And we're going to ask ChatGPT to grade it. In my case, I'm asking for a 1 to, I think, 5 grade, like a 1 to 5 score or rating. So, and I'll say, here's the conditions for rating. We can actually take a look at what this looks like together, but I'll be like, hey, if they have relevant job experience, please give them a higher rating. If they, what else? Maybe a degree in the relevant field. We'll check for spelling and grammar. That's important to me as well. Maybe a reputable university. Do they actually have experience? All that kind of stuff, right? And I'll define a threshold being like, hey, I only want to actually set up interviews with people that score a 5 out of 5 or maybe a 4 out of 5 or something like that, right? And then from that point in time, it's going to score the person, and then we can filter them out, and only the people that meet that threshold are then sent off an email to book an interview with, right? So this is a huge time saver for me as well. The next thing is actually finding viral content ideas so that you can create content with. So if you're a content creator, right, maybe you're on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram or whatever, you know that one of the biggest pains is just waking up and feeling inspired to create content and actually have like a content library that you can draw ideas from. A lot of the time for me personally, like I would say the majority of my time is just finding good ideas, right? It's hard, and you might feel inspired to create the first 100 pieces of content, but then the first 1,000, it's difficult, right? So with a workflow like this, what we're doing is we're web scraping something like TikTok, and keep in mind it could be any platform that you want. It doesn't just have to be TikTok, but we're essentially scraping something in TikTok or the search query Google Ads in TikTok. We're going to grab all of these videos, right? Every single one of them. Right? And you probably be doing this previously by hand, going through one by one, taking a look at the stats. How many likes does it have? How many comments does it have? How many shares, if you even can find those metrics, right? And it's going to essentially consolidate all that data, and we're going to pass it through a filter. Maybe we only want videos that have 500 views, maybe a certain like to video view count ratio, all that kind of stuff. And then we'll pass it through ChatGPT as an additional filter where we ask it, hey, is this first of all in the language that I speak? For example, there might be pulling in a lot of videos that aren't even in English, for example. Is it actually in the relevant niche that I'm in, right? If I'm talking about digital marketing, is it a digital marketing video based on certain data that's in the video, right? So this is a powerful way that you can use ChatGPT to filter out the highest quality videos, dump them into a Google spreadsheet, and then you can draw inspiration from all of these videos that you collect so that you can make the process of finding and creating videos so much easier. The next business use case using ChatGPT is lead generation, coming back to lead generation here. So let's say, practically speaking, you have an agency and you depend on people giving or filling out quote forms on your website. And what I mean quote form, I mean like first name, last name, email, phone number, all of that kind of stuff. This is my business here. We do automation services. And let's say you're a business owner and you want to do two things with this. First of all, you want to get the person on the phone incredibly quickly, but you also want to enrich data on that person. Let's say you're selling high ticket services, maybe $10,000, maybe even $100,000, and you want to capitalize, right, on calling people fast, because you know if you call in a minute, you're going to increase your conversion rate by 391%. But you also want to make sure that when you call the person, you know who they are, you've done your research on them, and you have talking points, not only about building rapport, but how to sell them. You have a customized sales script built out. All of that kind of stuff is going to increase your conversion rate. But the problem is that time is against you. You don't have the 10 minutes to go do that. You want it immediately, right? That's where ChatGPT comes in. So when somebody fills out a quote form like this, you can start a workflow like this. And essentially what we're doing here is we're grabbing as much data on that person as humanly possible in the shortest amount of time. So we'll go to a platform like Apollo, which is a data enrichment platform. What that means is like, it'll give you additional information about that person, what their job is, what their title is, description, bio. It'll give you a link to their LinkedIn profile. You can grab that LinkedIn profile. You can scrape that profile using a web scraper to grab additional information about them. And then let's say they inquire on your form with a business email, right? So for example, if I'm like jono@test.com, well, we can pull out test.com, which is the company email or the company domain. And then we can actually go to that website, and then we can use ChatGPT to summarize the website, what they do, all that kind of stuff, and then consolidate all the information we've received on that person from Apollo, from LinkedIn, from their website, use ChatGPT to summarize it so that it gives us a tailored sales pitch. It gives them talking points, rapport points, all of that kind of stuff in an instant so that you can call within 30 seconds or less or whatever. And you can also have talking points as well. So that's super powerful stuff. The next thing that I want to talk about here, the next few things that I want to talk about here are actually all content generation. So the first one is podcasts using AI. So with ChatGPT, you could literally just create podcasts, at least the description, the title, and the actual, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name, the script. There we go. That took me way too long to remember, but you can generate the script. And then with that script, you can then run it through something like 11 Labs, which is an AI voice generator. You can actually clone your own voice and then generate entire podcasts or snippets of audio, right? This is an example of what it looks like.
A significant move. The Justice Department has initiated a second antitrust trial against Google, accusing the tech giant of monopolistic practices in online advertising.
So you can create AI podcasts very quickly with the help of ChatGPT. The next one is generating entire ebooks using ChatGPT. So practically speaking, this is what it would look like. In a matter of seconds, you're generating ebooks. Now, there's a couple of use cases for this, but before we go into the use cases, I just want to talk about the fact that, yeah, it's not perfect. The images which are generated by ChatGPT, they're not perfect. The text is not perfect. But this took me like 2 seconds to build, or not 2 seconds, like probably like 45 minutes to build. If you spent a bit longer on it, you could get it a lot better than what it is. The use cases would be something like maybe you want to generate ebooks, get first drafts out the door, and just have something to work with so you don't have to do the grunt work of getting it up, right? So you just increase your efficiency, you work smarter. And the second thing is maybe you want to give lead magnets to people. A lead magnet is essentially an exchange where you're providing a product or a service in exchange for an email. And the reason companies want an email is so that you can later email market that person and hopefully convert them into a paying customer, right? So they give you an email here, and then you generate them an ebook and you send that ebook to them by email. So in this example, we're asking them, hey, what do you want the ebook title to be, or the description, the tone of voice, or the target audience? How many chapters? What's the reading level? And then we use a workflow like this that automatically generates the ebook. We generate the text using ChatGPT. We generate the images using ChatGPT, and then we convert it into a PDF, and then we automatically email it to the person. So that's really, really cool, right? Next thing is generating videos using ChatGPT and 11 Labs, right? So essentially using ChatGPT, once again, similar to before, you can use ChatGPT to generate titles, descriptions, the script, and then use that script to generate the audio. Practically speaking, what that looks like here is a reel that you can then go to post automatically on like TikTok or YouTube. This is just an example, right? This is example text to test how subtitles look, right? So you can generate stuff like this, and then you can automatically post it onto Instagram. Now, just to preface this, because, and I should have mentioned this a bit earlier, when I say automatically, what I really mean to say is like there's human intervention in the loop all throughout the process. So first of all, you generate the title and the description, the script, and you have to manually say, I confirm that. You check one box. And then once you confirm that, then you can go ahead and you can generate the video, or you can generate the podcast or whatever. And then if you like that, then you check one box. So there's 2 button clicks, I guess, in there just to prove that you like what has been generated. Because me personally, like, you know, I don't want to publish things on my personal or business accounts unless I actually approve and I'm happy with what was being generated, right? So I always like having human intervention in there. Of course, you know, you can just automate the whole process, but I don't know. I just like it. I'm a huge believer of coupling automation and AI with some manual intervention, so you can actually take a look and see that you're happy and you're proud of the content that you're going to be delivering to other people. So just keeping that in mind as well. Now, the next automation that I want to talk about here is generating print-on-demand products. So, you know, for example, this t-shirt, you can see it's not perfect. Once again, I generated it really quickly, but you can see like the PNG is not cut out. So that should obviously not be there. It should just be the elephant on a white t-shirt. But essentially what you can do is you can use ChatGPT to automatically generate these images, right? And then you can generate from that image, you can analyze the image using ChatGPT. So not only, this is so cool, not only are you generating the image, but then you're analyzing that image to generate a title and a description for that product. And then you're pushing that into your print-on-demand store in Printify. Printify can connect into all your other stores like Shopify, like Etsy, like Amazon, all of that kind of stuff. And then you can sell across all the platforms. This is great if you just want to get inspiration by generating some AI products, like a elephant design printed t-shirt, or if you have images already, what you could do is you could literally clone those images. So you could say, here's my main image, create 10 different variants. And then you could be like, hey, do I like some of these variants better? And then you maybe go ahead and use those variants to sell to your clientele as well, right? So lots of different options there, but that's kind of the idea behind this one. The next automation, and I believe the last automation, is affiliate marketing. So this is really cool. I'm using Pinterest in this example. You can use whatever platform it is that you want, right? It doesn't have to just be Pinterest. But in this example, we're doing 3 things here. Number 1 is we're doing keyword research. So we're asking Pinterest using their native tool. We're asking them, hey, can you tell me the highest ranking keywords that are going to do the best, right, for search results? Then it's going to give us a list. Right? And practically speaking, we have a Google Sheet like this. So how it works is we have, like, we're just doing Pinterest research on things like maybe home decor or art or beauty or children's fashion, design, education, all that kind of stuff. We give an idea here, pillow, and then it'll give us back 50 different examples of the top performing keywords that contain the word pillow. So for example, it could be throw pillow, couch pillow, accent pillow. It'll give you 50 different variations of keywords that contain pillow in it. And then what you can go ahead and do is you can generate 50 different pins for that, right? And we're not automatically publishing it to Pinterest first. Obviously, you need to go through and approve the ones you like and reject the ones you don't. But essentially what's going on is we're going to do the keyword research, and then we're going to use Appify, which is web scraping, to scrape products on Amazon.com for that particular keyword. So we're going to have the keyword throw pillow. We're going to search Amazon for throw pillow links, and it's going to pull in 3 throw pillow links. I chose this third one because I like it the best, but this is something that I'd be happy to sell. And then we generate an image around that throw pillow that we found on Amazon. So we're taking that image and we're cloning it using AI. And what that practically looks like is a pillow just like this. So we're cloning the image, and then we're going to upload that into Pinterest with our own pin here. Now, at this point in time, if somebody looks at it and they're like, wow, this pillow is like beautiful, I can see that in my house, then they can go ahead and they can visit this site, which is going to take them to an Amazon.com link. And the cool thing about this link is it has your tag in here. So if somebody goes ahead and they buy that link, or they buy this pillow, then you're going to get compensated for buying it through your Amazon affiliate tag, right? So this is a great way that you can set up automated affiliate marketing using ChatGPT. Practically speaking, ChatGPT can help with the titles, it can help with the descriptions, it can help with the board titles and the board descriptions. It could even generate those images for you. There's a lot of other things that you could have ChatGPT do here, but that's just, for starters, what you could do. So that is, in a nutshell, 17 different business use cases for ChatGPT, specifically regarding AI automation. If you guys found this video useful, please make sure to subscribe to this channel just for more content just like this video. And if you guys have any questions or comments or anything, leave it down below in the comment section, like this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks once again for watching. Bye-bye.